Hello, hello. Jack is back, and he's in black, says the Imperial Diamond Spinosaurus. How are we doing? He also says, Jack in black, not men in black. Okay. Right, so today, this is an exciting one. We're going to be drawing a dinosaur. And not only any dinosaur, the dinosaur. Now, to preference what we're going to be doing today. Oh good, I'm glad you're okay, Diamond. Good to see that. I've already done like some stuff to sort of get this sort of stream ready. So like on this frame here, we've got this background which basically shows the very rudimentary basic layout for the jungle. Yeah, Mark Davies. He says, "How are things going?" Things are good. And is this episode 3? Yes, the Megaraptor paddock frames I was working on over the last few streams. I did previously mention that they were like frames that were coming in the future. They were like a few sort of, not chapters, but a few scenes away from where I am actually working from, really. Sort of jumping ahead on the live streams, and then sort of meet in the middle. And then I realised I had a scene missing from episode 2 that well, not missing, but I didn't know where to put this scene, and I was like, actually, if I move this scene into episode 2, I can actually push the Megaraptor scenes into episode 3, which is actually really good, because then that means I'm progressing into episode 3 already, so things are really moving along. Episode 2, I've almost finished the frames for it already, so that's exciting. But yes, so this is going to be from episode 3 now, or chapter 3. And so I had pre-drawn this. Here we have the old Megaraptor in all its glory. Obviously it's not got its tail, but this is what I've done so far. But that's not what we're doing. We're drawing it sleeping today. So I already took the time to take this and then cut it all up and then reposition it into a sleeping position like this. Very basic. You can even see like how I've cut it out. Yo Mokutham. So what I'm now going to do is actually add a new layer, call it lines, and we're going to draw around this. So, and I actually want the head to be slightly turned as well, so we're gonna do this. Actually, John, I might do the head last. Let's concentrate on this first. So I should basically have everything set up to how I need it to be to enjoy a nice stream. Well, I hope everyone's doing all right. I don't know how many days it's been since I last streamed. I think the last stream I did was with Clayton. It is blazingly hot today in the UK. It's lovely. But I'm sat inside painting. Oh, better change this track. That'll do. Jack, I'm dying from the heat and I'm inside also, says Imperial Diamond Spinosaurus. The thing is, I don't do too well. Me and my other half went down to the beach yesterday for a walk, and I slathered myself in sun cream because the sun just doesn't like me whatsoever. I just get burnt to a crisp. And I put sun cream all over me or whatever. And for some, you won't be able to see it on the stream, but I've got a strip of kind of slight red down my arm, like perfect. Like someone took a ruler and just slapped my arm from where the sun caught me. Michael Thumb says it's worse for me drying latex with a hairdryer, and I'm hot even with the door and window open. But I do love the sun, even though I don't really go out in it properly much. Like when it's like this. Usually if I put sun cream on, I'm alright. So I enjoy it. Is the Megaraptor still in beta mode since the face kind of doesn't look like that menacing? Oh, you wait. You wait. So I base the face of the Megaraptor on like like lizards. Like, you know how like in some movies and stuff the teeth are always on show and stuff. I didn't want that with the Megaraptor. Yo, British Tyrannosaur. It needs an angry brow. Well, the thing is, it's going to be sleeping, so it's not really going to be... I don't want it to look that menacing. It's got this really, really long tail. British Tyrannosaur says, I'm watching The Fugitive right now. Nice. Okay, so basically, let me work out how to do the head. Do you know what? I might need to. Well, actually. Get its other arm under there. Because this is the blank head in the background. This thing, it's just a blank head. So that's what you use to base off. Change that song. That's what you base the rest of the head on. So. Like this. That's sort of under the eye, isn't it? Mark Davies says, I haven't seen that in years, talking about The Fugitive. May add it to the watching list for this week. Have Bumblebee lined up for tonight, and then planning on rewatching Twister. Nice. You know, I still haven't seen Bumblebee. I haven't even seen I haven't watched the Transformers film in so long. But Twister, I recently got Twister on Blu-ray, so I've watched that recently. British Hanson says, wrongfully accused of murdering his wife, Richard Kimball, Harrison Ford, escapes from the law in an attempt to find her killer and clear his name. Pursuing him is a team of US Marshals. There you go. British Hanson says, I'm surprised Twister didn't get like 5 direct-to-DVD sequels. To be honest, I'd watched them all. I think there's not an actual sequel, but there is a film called Night of the Twisters, which came out after Twister, and was like, the opening of that, if I remember correctly, the opening of that is like quite close to capturing the atmosphere of Twister, but the film is not good. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the film's good, I'm just saying it captures the atmosphere. Okay, so I think, let me get rid of this and this. Cut that head off. Oh, what are we doing? Copy. Yeah, okay. Just gotta keep like sort of twisting it until it looks right. Yeah, there you go, that looks good. Imperial Diamond Spider says, why does the Megaraptor look slightly similar to the Endoraptor? Because it's a raptor. They've got that body shape. It's like drawing a cheetah. Oh no, drawing like a leopard and then a jaguar. You know? But the Megaraptor doesn't have a sickle claw or anything. Doesn't have spikes on its back. Doesn't have the ridges above its nose. Has a shorter face. Is a hybrid for one. Mark David says, is it bad or kind of amusing to watch Bag? Basically, is it black sack worthy? I'd say it probably is black sack worthy, but I can probably tell you that our reaction to it would probably be it's just boring, more so than funny bad. And that's like, you know, they're the worst kind, the ones that are just boring. Considering Twister is kind of like Jurassic Park, perhaps Twister 2 would be more Lost World inspired, says British Transfer. I mean, what would a Twister... How would they do that? Like, because the reason Twister works is they say there's going to be like a record... They say there's going to be like a crazy amount of storms or something in a quick succession. Like one after another, and it's a really rare event, so... Would the sequel, instead of being like them chasing a load of Twisters, would it be like the opposite? So it's like they started with aliens essentially, but they're following it up with aliens. So you'd have a Twister film that's basically just about one Twister. Trying to see, like, I'm just trying the leg in different positions to see if I can get like a more, needs to be like that, and then yeah, I mean, kind of like that, yes. It would be 2 F5 Twisters in the same landmass as Muggle Farm. Yeah. And one heads for a major city like San Diego. better. Trying to create a lost world, but it's on the mainland. Otherwise, it's just an island. You'd have to do a hurricane, says British Transport. A Twister sequel that isn't... It's about a hurricane, not a tornado or a Twister. What would you call it? Typhoon? So the sequel to Twister is called Typhoon. I'm sure there's... I'm almost guaranteed... I'll say there's almost guaranteed a film to be called Typhoon out there somewhere. There's got to be. That was really broken English. But yeah, I guarantee there's a film called Typhoon, is what I'm trying to say. Water spout. Yeah. Derek Porter says, what type of dinosaur are you drawing right now? This is the Megaraptor. Sleeping. It is basically... Let me just do this bit and then I'll show you. It is this bad boy here. Basically. Although its head needs to be stretched a little bit. These songs have a lot of white noise to them, don't they? I always forget that they have that when I stick them on the stream. Let's put on something a little bit more jovial. Where are we going? Yeah. Looks really cool, especially with the blue coloration. Oh, thank you. British Translator says no, it's called Twister Free, but big twist, it's a hurricane. Like the storm chases were way off or something. Or what if it's like a film where they predict it's going to be a twister, but then when they get there, they pick up the signals that it's actually a hurricane. But then they think that their like readings on a like a tornado were wrong, but they were essentially right, and what happens is a tornado and a hurricane merge and you get the super cone. It's the F6. They never thought it was done. It could be done. They never thought it was scientifically possible. It's the hybrid. It's the Indominus Rex of storms. They took, the big bad T-Rex, i.e. the hurricane, and the really deadly nimble tornado, and they combined the two to make the F6. And that's the plot for Twister 2. Gary5 says, is that the only Megaraptor, or is there another one? Or is there another as a skeletal carcass or mate? I'm not going to say. I'm not going to give you those spoilers. And now it needs the equivalent. That is such a sequel plot, it's not even funny. Sad players, I'd watch it. Yeah, I'd watch it too. There's no shame in that. who wouldn't want to see a film where a twister, a tornado, and a hurricane merge to make a super a superstorm? They never thought it was scientifically possible. Okay, so let's get the colour. I'm going to move this now over into the other frame. It should be the right size. Michael Thumb says, for Twister 4, they chase a hurricane and 4 twisters that are all zoning in on Central Point, and when they join, a UFO comes out of the clouds and flies, and a fridge flies past with a storm chaser in it. Thing is, though, they're like the crazy. You can't do crazy tornado films anymore after bloody Sharknado. I mean, they have. We live in a world where one can safely say that Sharknado has the monopoly over storm movies right now. Unless Twister was that good that, like, if you add up all the numbers of Twister's box office, it's the it makes what, quarter of the Sharknado's total gross, and maybe Twister is dominating just from one film. I don't know what the how much money the Sharknado movies have made, but they've made like 7 or 8 of them, haven't they? Gary Five says, is the background music for a second we see the creature going to be spooky? Is the background music for the second we see this creature going to be spooky, like similar to the cougar scene in Homeward Bound? That's not the reference I was expecting. I can't say. The composer is going to have to decide how it sounds, really. I sort of leave it up to him, and then, or I give him some pointers. But I can't really say what the music's going to be doing in the scene, because it's all to do with like what bookends this sequence. So no answer, I'm afraid. Yozul, he says, for some reason YouTube didn't notify me about this. Oof, well, that's YouTube, isn't it? Michael Thumb says, wait until Piranha Spout comes out. Water spouts formed by piranhas from Piranha 2, directed by James Cameron. If he legit came out like and said that he was making that, I'd go watch it. Why not? Derek Porter says, do you plan on putting prehistoric mammals in your series? There's one mammal in this series. There's a leopard seal hybrid. It's in, you can see it in chapter 1. But there's no like woolly mammoths or saber-toothed tigers or anything like that. There's lots of human mammals. But that's just me being petty and pissy. British Trenosaur says, honestly, James Cameron is all about pushing effects. I'd love to see him do a Storm movie with a wacky twist, of course. Speaking of Cameron, what's your thoughts on Terminator Dark Fate? I don't really have any thoughts on it, really, if I'm honest. I'll probably wait for the for it to come on Blu-ray or something. I don't know if I'm going to go to the cinema to see that, but who knows? I might. I don't know when it's out though. I haven't really looked up much about it. Isn't Edward Furlong back in that now? Is it Edward Furlong, the guy who plays John Connor? Isn't he back? And they're saying they managed to drag him from the depths of wherever he was. Or heights, who knows? He might have been doing really well for himself. Yeah, Edward Furlong's back. Okay. I mean, it's interesting that they've got Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Edward Furlong back. Just the fact, I think, isn't it directed by the guy who did Deadpool? I think that's what's got me the most concerned. Furlong was in Arachnoquake the last I saw him. What? Arachnoquake? Is that like a spider earthquake movie? What's Arachnoquake? Sharkquake. Mike David says, and yet they don't seem to really be selling it as Linda's return to the franchise. She was all over the trailer, wasn't she, at the beginning trailer? Or she like came out of that van and stuff and made her entrance, as they say. Her re-entrance. Basically, British Council says, basically an earthquake unleashes weird mutant spiders. This absolute trash. Okay. Sounds like it. Michael Thumb says it's almost like they're trying to recapture something. Something that was a huge success from years ago with this Dark Fates film. They're trying to make Terminator 2 continue on or whatever they're trying to do. I don't know, in atmosphere or whatever. It's like, and they don't listen to the fans. All the fans, or the majority of the fans of Terminator that I have heard things off is, all they want is a decent war movie with likable characters. Not in a joke, not in like an overly jokey way. Not like Arnold Schwarzenegger putting on bloody Elton John glasses, and not Helen Bonham Carter playing Skynet. They want like just a good, solid action movie set in the future war. Like heck, you could do the film like so. The opening of the film is set during the opening of the war, and you stay there for the first act. The second act then suddenly goes into the past, and they do make note that you can't go back into the future, right? But what if? Now hear me out. What if they introduce a technology that means you can? And so the third act of the movie then goes back to the future war. Wouldn't that be great? Like with the purple lasers and the chrome robots everywhere and all that sort of stuff. Not the Terminator Salvation desert stuff. Although I didn't think that movie was overtly horrendous, aside from the Helen Bonham Carter Skynet head and a couple of other really jarring bits about it, but the stupid submarine setting. But like, do one in the chrome future. Like, I think that's what the majority of fans have been wanting. I think the opening of Terminator Genesis started to do that, and it kind of looked like good, and then it just went off and did very forgettable things. I'm usually quite good with remembering stuff that happens in blockbuster movies, even bad ones. But Terminator Genesis, I can only remember like a scene on a bridge and a bunker somewhere and a farmhouse, some officers, and Arnold's in a helicopter or something. That's about it. I don't really remember much else of that movie. Derek Paul says, what art program are you using? It's called Photoshop. Adobe Suite Photoshop. Okay. So what I'm now going to do on this one is don't know if I'm actually editing anything there. Oh, can't hold it down. Okay, all right, bear with me, folks. Let me go history state. Preferences, where is it? Preferences, here we go. A 1,000, okay, yes, I have got it as 1,000. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. I can't hold it down for some reason. What do you think of the Chicken Saurus project, says Gary Viper? For those of you that don't know, the Chicken Saurus project is where they're trying to reverse engineer a chicken embryo to try and give it a tail and a mouth instead of a beak and all that. I think it's messy. Oh my god, my hand is... I need to go back because I made a blooming mistake by merging two things together. Okay, here we go, come on. Going all the way back. Why didn't I make a copy of this layer I needed? Okay, here we go. Get rid of that. You can see how I did all this before I start streaming. Yes, okay, so I've got the scales, that's what I wanted. So I want to transfer those over into here and then just sort of use them to blend. Save me some time. That's good. Jurassic Godzilla fan 2006 says, 2 days ago I watched the first chapter of your Dino-Defenders. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Thank you very much, Jurassic Godzilla fan 2006. It's most kind of you. Mike Davis says, did you have an idea of the style of music when you first approached the composer, or did you let them run with it? I sent them some links to stuff that I said I've been listening to while painting and all this sort of stuff. That I feel like... because I don't just listen to what I listen to on the streams, like now. It's not just this. There's other stuff I listen to when I paint on my own. And I gave him some general thoughts on a couple of key moments. I was like, oh, I think it would be cool if we try and do something like this here. You know, like when the elevator doors open and it cuts to the piano music, and I wanted the piano music to basically be the main form of music. Not completely, but... I wanted it to be sort of the driving force of the music leading up to meeting Rose in her room. So I gave him like direction like that, but for the most part he then went and scored it, and what he came back with is what you basically hear, right? I mean, I did a few tweaks with him, a few edits. Actually, but what was amazing about the music I found was the fact that, like, the timing, he nailed the timing. I was saying this to my friends the other day when I was showing them some stuff for the first time. I was saying it was amazing that I sent him the episode and it was like the length that it is, and he just edited the music and it fit perfectly. And I was like, man, that's lucky. I'm going to need to basically cut this out. There's only one bit where the music sort of slightly goes out of time, but like it's almost unnoticeable. But that's just so then the rest of it can stay in beat. And it's not like too bad. Have you seen any good trailers recently, Jack? Says Michael Palm. The new Picard trailer looks quite interesting. I'll say that much. I'm cautiously optimistic about that after my disappointment with Discovery. And there was this one film with oh god, what was the film called? I can't remember now. It was one about like these like mutant cat people. Can't remember the name of it though. It's like there's all these like humanoid cat people running around. It looks super trippy, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. Godzilla fan, no worries. He said, "What dinosaur are you working on, Jack?" The Megaraptor. Oh, you mean Dogs? Yes, Michael Farm. Yeah, that's the film, Dogs. Mark Dave says the whole episode was fantastic, but I think the music was my favourite part. Really looking forward to episode 2. Yes, sirree. How many episodes do you plan on making? 6 in total. That's the current plan is 6. But we'll have to see. Obviously, I have said to myself, if you're like in episode 5 and you're like, well, I could actually finish the story and it won't come as a negative to the story, if that makes any sense, like if it actually turns out that I could finish it and it won't be detrimental to the story as a whole, I might do that, because this eats up a lot of my time, you know. And it would be nice to have a complete story. But the way I've got it planned in my head, there's 6, so I'd be very surprised if I did only have 5 episodes or something like that. It won't be 4, there's too much story to tell. Okay, right, so let's merge these layers. You mean if it wouldn't feel too jarring and rushed, says Mike Davis. Yeah, so like if it actually worked, if I was like, hang on a second, I don't need to do, like, I really go for kind of like a less is more approach with this. Yeah, like I said, there is so much planned and there's so much story to tell that I'd be very surprised if it's anything less than 6. But I have to be mentally prepared for that, like that potential. Because once episode 3, during episode 3, that's when, as I've said previously in other streams, episode 3 is when it all really kicks off. The episode that we're drawing this frame for. And things will be moving much quicker once episode 3 is during episode 3, and then towards the end it'll all be like a mad rush for survival. Jack, what did you think? Who do you think is going to win in Godzilla vs Kong in 2020? Says Jurassic Fan 2006. That's funny you say that, because I was talking about this with Clayton on our last stream, and I wanted to reiterate what I said. I have a theory. Now, this theory only makes sense if we're going to take them at their word at this current time. So, on the Kong v Godzilla poster that they released at some like press event not too long ago, I think around the time King of the Monsters came out, they released this picture of Kong and Godzilla going at it, and it said one will fall. So let's assume for a second that they are actually going to kill off one of them, that one actually will fall, because that's what they're sort of promoting at the moment. I have my doubts whether that will actually be the case, but I have some doubts, let's say that. But at the moment, my current theory, the one I believe, is the one I'm about to say, which is Kong is going to win. And here's my reason why. In King of the Monsters, Godzilla, kicked ass, and one of the characters says, I'm glad he's on our side. And then someone turns to their friend and says, for now. And obviously, in the grand story of things, Godzilla has just been crowned King of the Monsters. All the monsters came out to fight in one fell swoop, which wouldn't have, well, as far as we know, wouldn't have naturally occurred. But, these eco-terrorists forced them all out of hiding in one fell swoop. And they're all fighting, Ghidorah was trying to control them through the humans. And so Godzilla had to fight it to reclaim his kingdom from King Ghidorah. Well, if we are to assume that Godzilla does turn evil in Kong v Godzilla, Kong is the underdog, and Kong is going to have to become King Kong. So the reason they've just been calling him Kong this entire time is because he doesn't have his king title yet. And the only way he can get his king title is by dethroning the King of the Monsters, which is currently Godzilla. So I'd be very surprised if Kong v Godzilla doesn't end with Kong winning to some degree and claiming that he's king, essentially. And then the film will end on everyone calling him King Kong. And I think on the live stream I said, one way I see Kong beating Godzilla. This is how I would do it, but but it sounds ridiculous. Kong is slightly smaller than Godzilla, so Godzilla grabs him under the armpits at one point after beating him up and stuff, raises him up. Godzilla's spine starts glowing, and he's about to breathe fire on Kong straight in the face and kill him. And as he goes to do that, because Godzilla always does this breathing in like this, he's taking an inhale of air or whatever. I imagine Kong just grabbing, in his weak form, just grabbing Godzilla's mouth and slamming it shut as he does that, and it sort of makes Godzilla's head explode. Or not head explode, but makes him sort of internally rupture. There you go. That's how Kong could win. So Godzilla's taken down by his own atomic breath from the inside out. Oh yeah, Dimetrodon's not a dinosaur that's in the series. Yeah, you're right, Gary. I'm not planning on any more. Sort of mammalian creatures. Doing all this detail, but you're not really going to see any of this. I tend to add detail to the dinosaurs when there's not going to be much movement at all on them. If they're like fully animated, then I tend to not add all the detail. But when there's like a shot where like it's sitting still like this and it's going to be like sleeping, there's definitely going to be like some movement, but not a lot, like breathing. And so the detail I like to sort of up on these ones, just because even though it's going to be like blended and you might not see all this detail in total in the final thing, if you do look closely, you might see like some scales and stuff. So it's like you never know what detail you want to add because you don't know what could be seen. So it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Oop. I think I need to sort that jaw out. I'll do that once I've done the rest of the scales. Don't like the look of the head, or the bottom jaw. What about all the iconic lines from Alien vs Predator Requiem? What? Why are we talking about Alien vs Predator Requiem in the chat? Who mentioned that? I think the last time I watched that film was like 2012 or something. A while back. I watched it with some friends and then I realised that I hated the movie so much. Like, I feel bad for like really not liking a movie, but Alien vs Predator and Alien vs Predator Requiem are just so dire to the point where like they just piss me off, so I don't like watching them. So I don't even own them and I haven't seen them in years. Boycotting them. Someone mentioned AVP and wanted to make a joke. Right, okay. Yeah, what are the iconic lines from Alien vs Predator Requiem? Oh yeah, that's one. Get to the chopper! I know they said that in the film. But that's not really an iconic line from Alien vs Predator Requiem. But they stole it. Okay, so we've just got the tail to do here. Yeah, I heard about the fire in Japan, Zul. The one good line from Alien vs Predator. Which one, Michael Tharm? I don't get what you're saying. You're saying, yeah, you used the one good line from Alien vs Predator. What? I'm so confused. Why is the chat all talking about Alien vs Predator? I don't remember much dialogue from that film. Oh, Michael Tham, what I said. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Is that aligned to Alien vs Predator? I thought that was just a common sense rule. I didn't realise Alien vs Predator had used that. Yo Dino Gaming says, I love this series. Thank you very much. Jack, secret AVP fan confirmed, says British Transport. I'm actually doing a series of commentaries on the Alien films really soon, hopefully in the coming weeks. I'll start on those. Me and my friend Jack are going to sit down and watch the Alien films. And we'll start with Alien, then we'll watch Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and then probably end on Prometheus, because I've already done a commentary on Covenant. Or we might just do the Alien films and the actual one with Alien in the title, except for Covenant, because as I said, I've already done it. But we're not going to do the AVP films, because I can't be bothered. And our preference now, I'll say it just for the record now, they're probably not going to be 100% serious commentaries, because me and my friend Jack, we like to have a laugh. We'll just talk aliens and God knows what else. But those should be coming soon. See you later, Zul. Yo, W Rex, how are we doing? Jurassic Godzilla fan 2006 says, Jack, what is the worst Michael Bay movie you have ever seen? Age of Extinction. It's either Age of Extinction or Revenge of the Fallen. Is that what it was called? The Revenge of the Fallen, the second Transformers movie? Age of Extinction was so shit. But it was it was funny in how bad it was, whereas Revenge of the Fallen is just depressing. So I think I might just say Revenge of the Fallen, because at least I can have a laugh with Age of Extinction. I haven't seen Last Night or whatever it was called. The villain robot here shoots, look, boom, and there's this guy here. Who is this man? He just appears out of nowhere and boom! Who is that person? He's not there. It's just a random person just gets shot for no reason. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get off this because copyright and all that shit. There you go. Now you can see what I mean. Like, there's nothing like that in Revenge of the Fallen, so I'd have to say Revenge of the Fallen is the worst one. Because Age of Extinction just cracks me up with how bad it is. Gary5 says, I don't know if I've asked before about the Dino-Defenders trailer, but who was the mustache with the machete? You'll have to find out. I put some extra shots in the trailers that are from later, from episode 2, just to tease you guys and to sort of show you that more has been done than what you know, what you see. There you go. So now you guys, you know, it wasn't Kelsey Grammer who I was talking about. It was that random dude in that. He wasn't wearing a suit. Sorry, he was wearing like a grey sort of what would you call it? Like a grey overalls. I think I had to watch Age of Extinction in 2 goes because it was so shit. I tried watching it like one night when I was having a few drinks. Oh no, I tried to watch it on the car on the way home somewhere, and it was the only option I had to watch, so I thought, oh, this will pass this long journey. And I couldn't, I got 15 minutes in and went, no, I'd rather sleep. And then, and then I think it came on Netflix, and me and Jack I had Jack over, and we sort of, it was like really late in the night, and we just sort of decided to put it on just for a laugh to sort of wake ourselves up. But I think Jack ended up falling asleep, and I sort of bleary-eyed was just watching it and giggling to myself at how absolutely god-awful it was. And then that happened, the random guy, and I think I woke Jack up by laughing so much. Okay. Guess it's a construction worker or whatever. Meh, I like these films, so at me on Twitter and start a thread about my opinions, I guess. A construction worker. It's just like there was no one, it was just like he was just collateral. And it looked like he was running towards Mark Wahlberg. It's just, I don't know who that was. Because there wasn't any other construction workers or anything. As far as I could see. Maybe there was in the background, but there's too much stuff going on, but I don't know. I just cracked up because I just thought that woke me up. Okay, so let's get the colour here. I'm glad my screen capture worked so I could find that quickly. Jurassic Godzilla fan says, but yeah, the Transformers TV and comic books were better than the movies. Yeah, they were right. I've never like been a huge Transformers person. Like I enjoyed the when the third film came out. I went through a bit of an obsessed phase of that one movie, just because I thought it was so hilariously ambitious. That's one way of putting it, and it was ridiculous. And I think out of all of the movies, I can't even remember what it's called. What's the third Transformers film called? There's Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction, Last Night, Dark of the Moon, that's it. Yeah, I think Dark of the Moon is my favourite out of those films. If you had to sit me down and go, Jack, you got to watch one of these Transformers films, I'd probably pick Dark of the Moon. It's not good, but it's the one that holds my attention probably longest. Yo, Clayton. Yo, Mary Stu. Clayton, you and I need to jump on Discord as soon as possible. I got something to tell you. Something I think that might be of interest to you. It's right. Well, I don't know if it's right up your alley. I was about to quote John Hammond, but I don't know about that actually. I think you'll find it funny. Or at least I hope you do. God. I'll let you know my thoughts on Bumblebee later, says Mark Davies. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Bumblebee, but the thing is, I'm just not... Like I said, I'm not really exactly fussed by the Transformers stuff. I'd rather watch Pacific Rim. Not Uprising, but the first Pacific Rim. Okay, okay. Now let's add a gradient overlay. Gaming Dinosaur says, what dinosaur is this? It is the Megaraptor. Mary Stu says, bro, that dinosaur you're working on looks badass. I've tried painting my clay Dimetrodon I made yesterday and broke it before I started painting it. Oh dear. Oh dearie do. Oh lordy loo. What have you done? What have you done? Gone broken it, haven't you? Gone and broken it. Okay, see you later, Jurassic Godzilla fan. Thanks for tuning in. You missed me killed the T-Rex in Turok yesterday, Jack. I'm so sorry. My wife and I had been to the beach yesterday, and we got back from my family's quite late, and she had work early today, so she wanted to get an early night, and you know, where I stream isn't too far from the bedroom, so I kind of like to keep things a little bit quiet. I would have been able to join you on chat, but I wouldn't. I'd have been talking like this. I wouldn't have been able to really join in. And I don't think you were screaming and you were loving the game, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to like whisper. I want to join in. If I was to join, I want to be all like raucous. So I thought I'd be a drag on the old stream. No, Clayton, it wasn't your bad. I don't know, are you free to jump on Discord right now? If you want to have a quick chat or something? Save me playing this music over and over again that I've been listening to. Maybe we could have a game or two. What do you say? Because I'm nearly done here. Like my main goal for this stream was to just paint the Megaraptor sleeping. And I've pretty much got that done. I think I'm forgetting anything, but I'm gonna do that. What lives is kind of, yeah. Jump on if you want to. You can jump in. I'll go on Discord. If you want to, don't mind. Is the Megaraptor going to be all blue, says Gary Pfeiffer? No. Not necessarily, as Mr. Bean would say. Not necessarily. Yo, never not so clever at this. So good morning, everyone. And Cretaceous the Hunted has joined in. How are we all doing? Seems like everyone's in today. That's good to see. All the usual players, movers and swingers. Except Dino the Freak. Where is Dino today? That's what I want to know. It's funny, it's almost like you all knew I was going to be painting a dinosaur. You sniffed it out. You're like, he's painting a dinosaur, and I've got to get in there. Got to see that dinosaur. Ooh. Oh, he might be joining us. Oh, there he is. Let me turn this music off. There you go. How you doing, man?
Hello, John.
Hello. How you doing?
Pretty good.
What you been up to?
I just have to cut the. I had you on my YouTube thing. I'm on desktop, so to cut that out so I don't hear like echoes of you. What's going
All
on?
right. Yeah, doing good, man. You?
Just getting everything ready for the rest of the week. You know, video ideas. A lot of them are revolving around Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. Oddly enough, that was not planned. I want to do Lost World videos, damn it, but I've talked about it for 2 years.
What have you run out of ideas then? Is that it? You're packing your bags in.
I'm
You're moving
looking the Lost World. Look, it's a little difficult. That's the only one.
You saw that
Jurassic Park.
picture of Ian Malcolm driving the car, right?
Yeah, but that can't be a whole video.
No. Well, I don't know. Could it? There might be something in there.
There is deleted scenes around that stuff. There was a lot of course, there's the Nick Van Owen footage where like he lays everything out on the
Yeah.
hood of the car. I have no idea what the hell it is though, so I don't want to lie to anybody and be like, "Hey, this is where Eddie pissed in the woods." And
Yeah,
here's
avoid
where,
this.
like
Avoid that area over there because Eddie had a little accident over there.
Hmm.
You don't want to step in something.
That was one of the huge criticisms for that movie back then was that they parked their RV on the edge of a fucking cliff. But I mean, I don't care. Like that doesn't bother me at all. How could
It's
they
for
possibly...
it's for dramatic purposes, and they give it a reason at least. They say that the carnivals are in the center of the island, so being right on the edge of the cliff, it's like it's toying with fire. That's basically what they're doing, aren't they? They're
It's fine, but it's one of those. It's something that would immediately get attacked. Yeah, hold on. I need to be able to visualize what you're doing. So I guess what I'll do is mute my phone and pull it up. Let's see.
Oh, I'm just drawing a Megaraptor sleeping, and
I see that.
I mentioned you on WhatsApp. I think I was telling you about how like I had a scene that I almost forgot, and then I remembered it.
Wait, I haven't looked at WhatsApp today.
Oh right, I was saying that there was a scene like the I showed you a clip, didn't I? Of like a frame.
Oh, last night, yes.
Yeah. I showed you that new frame I was working on.
Yeah.
And that's a frame for like a scene from episode 2 that I was like, oh my god, I nearly forgot to put this whole quite important scene in to episode 2. I was gonna put it in episode 3, and I was like, actually no, this would work in episode 2 much better. So what I did was I moved the scene from episode 3 into episode 2, and then that essentially pushed all these Megaraptor scenes that I'm working on. Like I'm working on the paddock and stuff over the last few streams. That pushed all those into episode 3. So this is actually a frame from episode 3 I'm working on now,
cool.
not episode 2 anymore. So, which is
Not
good,
bad.
which is really good, because this is it's coming along nicely.
What was your biggest influence for the Megaraptor? You had to nail one creature down.
The Herrerasaurus toy that I'm staring at right now.
Ooh, okay.
Like if I pull it up on stream, you got to look at. Let me pull up because I've got the Megaraptor's head here. So the body is based on sort of what the Megaraptor body was kind of like, but it's like on all fours, which is inspired by the Indominus and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But then the back spine, I wanted to give it a back spine because I did this like rough sketch years ago, back when like this really really rough sketch, and the tail is ripped off, but it had a really long tail, and I was like, actually I want to make it like really slender slender and long, and it's gonna have a ridiculously long tail, and the head is like basically what I wanted to get right. And then I looked at the Herrerasaurus toy, and it has like a very thin long face, and I just really like that. So I was like looking at this while coming up with the idea for it. Basically, you just look at the Herrerasaurus toy. It's like a slender with a much longer tail, but a version of sort of that. And that's why I wanted to own this Herrerasaurus figure, and that's the only one from Fallen Kingdom that I got for this purpose. And then I'll just pass it on to my nephew once I'm done with Dino-Defenders.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got to send you John Hammond.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cheers, man.
No worries, dude. You'll get a lot more use out of it than I will.
There you go, guys. A Pterodome episode on its way. I've got some fun ideas to do with that figure.
The only Mattel toys I have are the ones they send me, and they stay in a box, just as like little trophies that I could give my kids or something someday.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a Jurassic Park toy. Well, tell a lie. I have got those little blind bag ones, but
that's just to adorn your desk, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got those along with some of the. I've got the Rage Rig from the Lost World, and I've got the little Pachycephalosaurus finger puppet.
The Rage Rig.
I haven't bought a Jurassic Park toy, I don't think, since 2001. Two. It's been. I didn't have many of the JP3 ones.
I had a fair few of those when they came out when I was younger, but I was disappointed with those even back then.
Yeah, I was too.
The only one I liked was the Spinosaurus. The React Attack Spinosaurus was the only one I really liked.
I wanted that one. I never had it. I had the T-Rex. And it was like the thing. I know nothing about toys. That's why I don't talk about it that much unless it's like, where you can find this toy for this dinosaur. Then I'll like give you the lowdown on that. But like, as far as toys go, I don't know about scale. I don't know about sculpts. I don't know about paint. I don't know about drama. There's a lot of drama always around shit like that. So I don't talk about it because I'm not educated and I don't want to be. But I mean, when it comes to Jurassic Park 3, I can just say that like as a kid, it was because the dinosaurs were they weren't that much bigger than the people.
No.
And it was.
Yeah, I mean, you got the big rubber Spinosaurus, but that was about it.
I didn't even know they sold that until I started doing this.
Oh, they had the T-Rex as well that was quite big, but it was nowhere near as big as like the other stuff. Yeah, you're right though. It's like everything was sort of scaled down. I didn't like it. Putting the humans, like, it really annoyed me that Billy was smaller than Tim.
Yeah.
That really annoyed me.
And not only that, but like it was also a little bit weird because some of the smaller toys, like I guess you would call them hatchlings or whatever, like I think was it Grant that came with a Spinosaurus? They stopped doing that and they started just putting those little smaller dinosaurs in 2-packs.
Yeah.
And those were pretty cool, but they're not in scale with anything and they don't look like babies. They look like they're adults, only tiny.
Yeah. They really dropped the ball on it.
I heard what happened was after Chaos Effect didn't get that much money into Hasbro, they canceled everything. Like, and they killed Kenner, and Hasbro adopted the Jurassic Park 3 line, and they were just doing everything that they were doing with Star Wars.
Well, Hasbro had their fingers in Jurassic with Kenner around the time of the Lost World. Like, Hasbro owned Kenner at that time, but they just sort of continued doing what they were following what Kenner had done, basically, without deviating from it too much.
Yeah, I think the people that still worked at Kenner during the JP days were still the same guys doing the Lost World work.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, they laid everybody off after. I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct, but Chaos Effect wasn't like a big seller, and that came after Lost World, which.
Well, the whole world hated the Lost World.
A lot of people, not me. Damn it, I never did.
No, nor did
I. Some people ruined it for everyone else.
Exactly. No, they didn't ruin it. They got us to where we are today.
Yeah, fucking 25 years later.
Yeah, and we're all man children. Gary Pfeiffer says, "How about the history of the Styracosaurus in the Jurassic Park franchise? That'd be an interesting one." Clayton,
it's a plan,
get on it.
Because it's in the novel.
Come on. What are you doing talking to me? Get on that video now.
Before I was going to do Dinosuchus history, but
didn't you do? Not... You did a video about the Dinos. Is it Dinosuchus? Yeah, you did one recently. Yeah, I enjoyed that video. That was good.
It's all right. I thought about doing the history of that, but I would only be adding in like 2 things that I didn't say in the video. So I was like, I'm gonna wait a little while because I feel a little guilty. I'm like, I'm not just gonna repackage the same shit.
I think you underestimate that Dinosuchus video you've made because I didn't realize that it was in the Lost World arcade game. See, I'm not like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never really played the Lost World arcade game. Never really like played it at all. Like,
Wow.
so
I
like,
love
there's a
that
lot of
game.
stuff. Yeah, I've seen videos of it and stuff, and I'm like impressed by what's in it. But I didn't realize the Dinosuchus was in it until you made that
Yeah.
video, and I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I think I may have seen a clip of it before in the past, but like it didn't register. I was like, oh, it's just a crocodile. It didn't register that it was a prehistoric crocodile.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that Lost World arcade game had it, and it was what's so interesting about that is I think you defeat the Dinosuchus, and then another Dinosuchus jumps onto the wooden like thing and starts to chase you. And the first thing that popped in my head once I looked at that,
I know what you're gonna say.
like Lake Placid,
Yeah,
like where like
there was two.
back to one where he just like blows it up.
Yeah.
But that was before Lake Placid, which is really funny. But yeah, speaking of that game, I've heard rumors for years that they added in the San Diego scene in Japan.
Yeah, I had no idea about that.
That's true. It is true. I looked it up, and I can't find any footage of it, but
They definitely added a San Diego sequence to the special edition of the Lost World for PlayStation 1.
wait, they did. Oh, that was already there. They added you're talking about on the boat, right?
No, there's another. They added there was a special edition version of the Lost World for PlayStation 1 that came out, which had better controls, and it had an extra level that was set in San Diego. But I don't think it was set on the boat. It was like set in San Diego.
Well, damn. I know they had an extra level at the beginning set in Jurassic Park, but I didn't know there was another extra level set
For
in
the
San
Lost World on
Diego.
PlayStation 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
There was an old
I've
Jurassic...
got both of them.
What?
I've got the greatest hits version and the older version.
There was an old Jurassic Park. They started off on the... What?
When
never
you
heard
start
of
up the greatest hits version,
Yeah.
it starts you off as the T-Rex, because that was one of the big complaints, was that the back of the box says you get to be the T-Rex, and then you start out as a compy. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Maybe I'm getting that confused then. Maybe that's what I'm
Well-
thinking of. It wasn't a San Diego thing. Maybe I'm conflating the two actually in my head. Maybe I've heard about the one in the arcade, and I thought
the
that
one-
was the one for the...
you still might be correct, because I've completed the normal version, but never the greatest hits version. But like, I know that in the greatest hits version, you start off with as a T-Rex, and it says Jurassic Park 1993,
Oh.
and it looks the exact same as like the Lost World stuff.
Oh,
It's a
right.
green T-Rex after all. But I mean, like, yeah, the end of that game has both T-Rexes on the boat that you kill while you're Sarah Harding and you get out in the movie. Mike says you'll be getting my info for you in the next 7 days or so. Just getting my stop motion puppets finished after rewatching previous video. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I've got your first email. It's all of the stop motion stuff. I've talked about it very briefly before in the past. I'd love to talk more about Phil Tippett and about the Go Motion stuff they used for that Sega Genesis video game, which I didn't know was Go Motion, but now it makes so much sense.
Yeah, like the T-Rex roaring and the raptor and all that.
Yeah, the T-Rex saying Sega.
Sega.
Did they do that? What's up, Dino? Did they do that for
There he is.
Rampage Edition as well? Or was it just the original Jurassic Park?
No, I think it was just the first one.
Okay.
But this is coming from the guy who just completely conflated two things together. So don't listen to my memory. My God. Yeah.
Next Jurassic Park movie is going to be in 2021. Oh, actually, unless you count a certain short film, then it's going to be before that, but we have no idea when.
Yes. That is true. Right, I'm just drawing around some scales. Just focus. Just stay focused.
No worries.
Right.
If you
Got
wanted
it.
to play a game,
Yeah,
later, what would it be?
I don't know. What do you fancy?
Anything. Friday the 13th, Overwatch.
The usual go-tos. Let me save this then.
Arc.
Oh, fuck. Like, I don't know. I can't. So I'll be there for like hours and hours and hours playing Arc.
You remember that though, right? Like we did that about a year ago.
Yeah. I wish Evolution was online. How amazing would that be?
They could do so much with that game if they just opened it up a little bit. The fact that you can control the camera anywhere you can now makes me realize they could do an add-on, an expansion pack where just do like, you know how you have the first person view in the gyrosphere?
Yeah.
Rig a human, make it first person, set up some servers, and just like take away all of the park building assets and just make it a survival game.
Yeah, just keep the park building assets, make it all one, so you can run around your own park.
Yeah, or something, or I mean, you could simplify it with another mode where it's just you and some friends trying to survive from these. You don't change anything. Keep the models, keep everything. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would have made that game. I do really like it. I think it's better than Operation Genesis.
Yeah, yeah.
I know a lot of people say Operation Genesis is better, but
yeah, I'm sort of torn. I mean, Operation Genesis has a lot of fond memories with me, but Evolution, just looking at Evolution, I'm like, this is a better game. It's like, just look at this thing. But the more they add like terrain tools, and the more they add things like adding customizable stuff to the actual park assets, like adding bins and benches to the sides and changing the colors of shops and names of shops and all those little details. That's what made Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and to an extent Operation Genesis so much fun for the most part, because Operation Genesis was quite limited. But if they can do like, if you watch Planet Coaster, some of the stuff you can do in that game, like I want to do stuff like that, but on Isla Nublar, it feels quite limited in that regard. They've got enough.
People say that. Yeah.
It's the same, like, and this is coming from someone who's part of the Jurassic family. They've got the same problem what Mattel has. They just keep adding new dinosaurs, and it's like, it's not about the dinosaurs. We want more Jurassic stuff. We want more like things to do in the park. It's not just all about the dinosaurs. Like, how about we have a character that's like a paleontologist you can call in to monitor the dinosaurs at the park, and like, or like, I don't know, what would you say, like mascots? Like, imagine someone running around, you know those little blow up T-Rex suits like, that people wear and they make memes of and all that sort of stuff. Like, imagine if you could get those as a downloadable thing for Evolution, so you could have like one of those running about inside a paddock.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty funny. Like,
or like, or like the T-Rex can attack the gyrosphere and the Jeeps. Why haven't they done that? Yeah, like, come on.
That's the one thing Operation Genesis does better than Evolution, is having the dinosaurs attack and interact with the human vehicles and stuff. Because you have could you imagine how much more interesting it would be if every time you go to change the feeders in the carnivore pens, if you had to worry about your guys getting killed? Or your
exactly.
Like, that's so much more fun. Like, that it's a risk, you know. Like, we gotta change this stuff out quick, because if we don't, we're gonna get picked off or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like the more Jurassic stuff. Like, that's exactly what they
It feels like you have way too much control. Like, it feels like a simulation, and I like the game. Like, I genuinely think it's good. It just feels to me they skirted some of the more adventurous or survival aspects. And Operation Genesis kind of did this too. See, this is why I've never been a big advocate of park builders, because after you build your park, what more can you do than just sit back and look at the animals like interact?
Well, it's where they always escape. That's the thing. It's like they're always escaping.
But it's just like a click away from being resolved. It's not.
Well, sometimes, but they're adding in things like the paleobotany side of it now. So the dinosaurs want certain types of plants, and they get sick, and it's like it's getting more complicated. So like you have to really like look after your dinosaurs. I get all that stuff. That's all fine. That keeps it interesting. But then I'm the sort of person who like, I like the sandbox mode of Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I like how crazy that is. And so like, like how crazy in terms of how customizable it is. Like, I like how much you can customize stuff. Right. Okay. So I've got a different background.
I see it.
Yeah.
It looks quite familiar.
Yeah. It's just because I can't. If I go onto my actual stream one, for some reason my OBS has a glitch, so it can't see my webcam. So I'd have to close OBS and then start it again for it to work, and I can't be bothered to do that. So I'm just gonna like add a game capture thing, and see if we can game capture. What game? What game do you want to play?
We can do Overwatch.
Yeah, just something simple.
Yeah.
I've got Quake Champions as well. Oh, Chivalry. I wish we could play. We should play Chivalry, but I don't think you have that.
I don't know what Chivalry is. I need to get
It's
Quake
hilarious.
Champions. I've got all of the other Quake games except for like Quake 4. I never played
it
that
needs
one.
an update. There's a new character, a new hero.
Oh, what in Overwatch?
Hmm. Yeah,
I really have you ever played the original Quake?
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Now or many years ago.
1997.
Back in the year of our Lord, the Lost World. Oh, shoot.
What?
Now the game captures being a bugger.
I don't need to update Overwatch.
No, it's my OBS. I might need to cancel this stream and then start another one.
Damn.
Yeah, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this stream and then I'll come back and then we'll play some Overwatch with Mr. Clayton Fioriti. I'll be back in a second, guys. 2 seconds. Okay, so I've started streaming again. Okay, so I've updated. I'm going onto the American servers. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, allow access.
Access main program. Access the program grid.
Access main security. Access main. Oh my god, what is all this? Summer games. It's saying I'm streaming, but then I'm not seeing it come up on my YouTube.
Me neither.
Bugger.
It says live stream offline when I click on it.
Yeah. Change it to Overwatch. Oh god.
Okay, back.
Change the name of the stream. Gaming. Overwatch. There we go. Right.